Hey, so this is the introduction to the note series. The first thing I guess we can go over is our categories. If we initialize the GE to whatever, it'll actually change the category as part of that initialization. So with this one, it just chose an arpeggio again. But if I switch this to like a CC, then you can see it changes to gated. I'm going to go ahead and initialize it as just kind of like the basic lead sound, since that's like probably the most straightforward Karma version of Karma that there is, of a GE out there. The categories themselves are just like you find in the Kronos. The user banks, as far as I know, cannot be renamed. You just but when you throw them into the Kronos, they would pop up with the user bank names there if you did decide to make custom user bank names. So, for example, user 12 you might have renamed to like I don't know, wobble synth, and then you could have like future bass wobble or like generic dubstep wobble or whatever for these user categories. And even though the name doesn't show up here, when you throw it into the Kronos, it will show up. When you do pick a category, any category, the subcategory pops up as undefined. It just means that you have to pick a subcategory. I'm actually not sure what would happen if you just decided to not pick a subcategory and throw it into the Kronos. But I don't think it would really matter. I don't think anything would really change. You can choose your programmer name. I guess you can also just rename it to like whatever you want. But I don't want to name it that because that's not who designed the program. Charles Ferraro designed it, so I'm going to enter in Charles Ferraro. So the note series itself, let me just do a brief rundown and then I'll make a separate video for the note type. The note series itself is reading a chord from Karma. And so if I hit like a C major, it'll say C major there. If I just hit an E, it'll actually say E major. Now you notice that with the E, it's just playing E's in octaves, even though it's reading as a C major chord. If I hit a C triad, it'll play C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G. But that'll change actually depending on these parameters, which I'll start getting into in the next video. But basically the only thing that you need to know is that Karma is reading chord inputs. It's scanning the notes that you play and then it's creating a chord from which it's fashioning a note series. And then Karma does all sorts of things based on that note series. There's I guess one more thing to go over. You can also, instead of having Karma function as a chord scan, you can go into, I think it's dynamic MIDI, I believe, and you could have something like, I don't know, let's go with note in zone or something like that, note inside zone. And we'll have the action be, sure, continuous, and our destination can be smart scan instead of chord scan, and I believe that would override the chord scan, which means in order for Karma to function, it would need two or more notes. In this case, it's actually not working because I didn't choose a module. There we go. So you see when I hit one note, these are all single notes right here. Single note, single note, single note. It's not till I hit a triad that Karma would actually produce something. Cool. So that's the basic introduction for the note series, and then I'll start getting into the specific parameters in the next video, starting with note type. Thanks.